Share screen. Boom. You guys see it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So since we're already in AUD, USD, and GA, I'm just gonna look at these pairs first. So we'll rock with AUD, USD. I'll kind of break down with what I saw for you guys. Where did my markup go? There we go. All right. So started on the daily, and so Brittany, this is what I was telling you about in the group chat a little bit earlier. You see this candle right here?
Mm-hmm.
That's a major rejection, and you see how sellers pushed price all the way down. Like, how many pips is that? That's 250 pips, and then the bulls in the market were able to still push the market up all the way down from right here up 280 pips, and that right there is just screaming like reversal to me. I mean, look at, even on the RSI bases on closes, but we're even touching this baseline right here. So the other confirmation that I had that we had a shift in trend was that we broke this trend line right here after like a couple of weeks. So this was just downtrending, and then this candle right here just absolutely just showed me that this was a reversal. So now I really like the 4 hour. The 4 hour is my favorite chart. And see, we had like this little pullback right here. We have all this momentum. So what I did was this. I typically don't like to consider this the higher high and higher low, but this market's trending pretty fast. Yeah, this pair is going to hit our take profit here pretty soon. But so this one was a higher high and this one was a higher low. And so what I did was I drew my fib from the bottom of this candle right here to the top of this one. And then this is how I got this entry. So what I was doing was I was just watching candles, and I saw this candle right here, and then I went down to the 1 hour, and then I saw we had this double top right here, a triple top right here. And then we kind of had a little bit of structure. So it looks like we broke structure, but in the 4 hour, we're still maintaining an uptrend. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it went down, and this candle literally tapped the 61.8 perfectly. Like, that's the most beautiful tap I've ever seen in my life. It couldn't get any more perfect than that. And I really want this 1 hour to close like way up here, just because I want to hit this take profit already. But so then what I did was I broke it down to the 30-minute. And then this long candle right here, what I think was happening was the market makers were trying to get people to sell. So it was just coming out of dead gap. Dead gap is from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So whatever that time is in your guys's. This long candle right here, and then I saw this rejection candle right here, and it came back, and then I just saw this one right here, and then on the 15-minute is a double bottom. And then I was really looking at the 15 and the 5 is just to scope out this entry right here. These are really the candles that I was looking at, or right here. Bear with me for a sec. Cool. These were the two candles that really told me that this was going to reverse, and then this engulfing candle was just a straight confirmation. Came back to test it one more time, which gave us another triple bottom right here in the 15-minute. And then it was tapped off the 61.8. We're in an uptrend, and then these candlesticks right here were just telling me that it was going to reverse as well too. I mean, look, we have an inverted head and shoulders right here, and then a double bottom right here, which shifted and broke structure right there. I mean, all the same rules that I use for the daily is the same thing that I use for the 5-minute. So when I saw that reversing and everything, I was just like, okay, it's over. This is going to be a really good entry. And then I set my stop loss just a little bit below the 78.6. And then first take profit 0, second take profit's -27, and then the third take profit 61. And then I also have one open as well too, just to see how far this goes. I mean, I don't really know how far this goes. I mean, we're trading off the daily. So how I marked this up was I started from the daily. I started the scene that this was in downtrend, broke this trend line, so we had a shift in trend. this candle was just telling me reversal. So now I'm just looking for buys. So now all I have to do is just focus on an entry and just focus on the candles. So I draw my fibs on the 4 hour just because that's how I backtest. I'm really, really comfortable with the 4 hour. Draw this from low to high, came down to the 61.8. I like entering off the 38.2 and the 61.8 because those are the most, I think those are the most safe levels, I guess you could say. But the 50 and anything past the 78.6 is unbalanced. I don't even look at the 23.6 because if it comes back to the 23.6 and continues, that trend is moving pretty quick. So I don't like to enter off of that. But so I saw this one created a high, pulled back, and then it created this high, and now it pulled back to the 61.8. And we also have this ceiling right here, which Brittany, you were talking about earlier. This ceiling became a floor. So we can move this a little bit over. See how it came down to the floor perfectly, and it already tapped it one time?
Mm-hmm.
So we found this ceiling right here one time, two time. So we have these equal highs right here. And it came down, tapped it, and then tapped it again. And now we're heading up. So I really think this thing could go for a minute. And then same thing with GBP AUD. I hate this candle. This just screws everything up. So the same thing with this one. I mean, you guys obviously saw like this 2,000 pip candle right here. I mean, that was just absolutely absurd. So that was just the first indicator that I thought that we were going to be in a downtrend. So identify the trend on the daily and the 4 hour, and then I look for entries on the 15 and the 5. That's pretty much what I did. Same thing on this one. Drew my support, came down, made a little double bottom right here, and then just kept continuing. And then I was just waiting for price just to come back to this level. So it actually coincides with, I think, the 61.8 again. So I drew it from this high right here down to this low right there. And if you look at that, I mean, that to me is a rejection candle, even though it is green, because you can see in this 1 hour, I like this a little bit better. So you see that right there? That's technically a bullish shooting star. And essentially what it means is that buyers tried to push price all the way up here, and then sellers push price back down. And then we got this little doji candle right here. And now it looks like they're going to make a engulfing right here. So we'll see how structure plays out. But I mean, it's got quite a bit of momentum. So even when we go down to the 30-minute, it's just simple. I mean, not really simple, but if you guys study the Candlestick Trading Bible, I really like just to trade price action and candles and everything like that. So same thing that had happened with AUDUSD. Came up, tapped the 61.8, and then closed below this. And same thing, we had all these equal lows. I mean, look how many times that tapped at. Like, that was a pretty strong area of support. So when it broke through that, I knew that it had a really, really high chance of coming back here. On top of that, with the Fibonacci and then the price action candles too, same thing, hop down to the 15. And then look, we got a double top. We got 2 rejections. Came up, tapped it, pulled back, tapped it one more time, and then now, I mean, you can see that it's dropping. So those are my confirmations. This one, my structure is kind of ugly on the 5-minute. I like the 15-minute a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. And then so the same thing applies to the 15, the 30, and the 5, these lower time frames, as like the weekly, the daily, and the 4 hour. It's all just structure. And so once you see that this breaks, so let's see if I can explain it for you guys. Am I making sense for you guys so far?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you can see this trend line right here. This is on the 15-minute. So this is just a little, what I'm going to call like a minor trend line, just because it's on the 15. So you see it's making continuous higher highs and higher lows up here. And then it finally broke this higher low right here. It failed to push price any higher. So once it broke this, I mean, it could even come back up and tap this. Because same rules apply. So I could even see it come back up here. And we could probably look for a re-entry. and then just drop down there. And if it comes back up for a re-entry and we get more price action, it has shown us bearish momentum. I mean, you could probably, I mean, that's a pretty high probability trade right there. So I mean, I'm gonna be watching this like a hawk, and these are pretty much just the two pairs that I'm gonna be watching tonight, just because I'm confident in them. I know what they're doing. I'm watching them a lot. So Euro AUD, the the euro right now has a lot of upwards movement, I guess. So we do have this downtrend right here, but I want to see it probably push up into here. But I don't want to touch this pair just because, I mean, I'm watching what Euro USD was doing earlier, and I mean that candle right there. This is just I don't really want to touch this pair. So I know that the dollar is weak right now, and I probably won't be trading euro tonight. Just like I said, I'm already got I'm actually risking like 5% on my account right now. Got 4 orders open on AUDUSD, and then 4 orders open on GBPAUD. And then I've got the 3 take profits that we have at the 0, the -27, and the -61.8. And then I have 2 that are open. So, and it looks like it's still moving pretty good here too. So we can look at these other pairs. It's just these ones are kind of messy. This is what I was looking at on Euro JPY. I had this marked up a little bit ago. So I see this support right here. So I think this could still push higher up into the 125.82 area. I mean, we have that little bit of a pullback right there that maybe you could have entered on like the 4 hour. I wouldn't take any more buys on this unless you're trying to scalp it. But overall sentiment is downwards. I mean, you have like this consolidation right here and then just this massive push. So, I mean, the one thing that I don't like about the JPY pairs, and Brittany, this is what I was telling you about, same thing with AUDUSD and GBPAUD, is this long candle right here. It is bearish, but I mean the rejection on that is just crazy. So I mean, I could even see this maybe just like coming up even up into here, just because that's a very, very, very big rejection. So trading JPY right now is maybe just a little bit risky. This one's cleaner, but still, again, you have this candle right here. I think there's better setups. You know, GBP AUD and AUD USD. I mean, these are the cleanest setups that I see right now. So I don't see any reason to keep trying to trade JPY. I mean, my goal, I consider myself kind of like a mid swing trader. So what that means is essentially just holding maybe for like a day or two, risking 30, 40 pips to make 200, 300 pips, and just holding for a couple days. So when you're trading like this, it's really just quality over quantity. I mean, you only need 2 trades to. I mean, if you're dropping a standard lot, you're making, what's that, like $6 grand? $6 grand a week, taking 2 trades. I mean, I'd much rather be doing that, and then you can go and live life. And that's really why I got into trading, is just because then you can go doing the stuff that you want. I mean, if you're trading lower time frames and stuff like that, scalping, you always got to be watching the markets, and it's a little bit riskier than I would like to trade. This one right here is still setting up for me. Euro CAD. I'd like to see it come up into this area, I think, because of this support right here. You see this big sell-off right here. We got these 3 hits to the high right there, and this big sell-off, and then it pushed it back up. 123 pips. So that told me that was a pretty strong level, and then it broke this, came back and retested. So this told me that this was a pretty strong level of support right here. So it made a ceiling. So now I'm looking at this for resistance, which also we draw our fib. This, I have a couple ideas on this. So high to low. It didn't touch that 38.2, so I don't really consider this a lower high. Go back down to here. So draw our fib all the way from this lower high down to this lower low. You can see that it's probably going to come back up in here, and that's the 61.8. I mean, that's a sweet spot. And then we're going to look for price action up in here, whether it be like a double top on the 15 or the 30. If we get a double top on the hour, even better. The higher time frame, the better it is. But right now I see that we're kind of breaking structure a little bit. We go down to the 1 hour, we can even maybe see this comeback, maybe like a shorter term trade. Back towards that peak. I wouldn't trade against the trend. I would much rather wait for this setup to happen. I can send you guys this markup and you guys can take it if you want. Just keep in mind that it's a lower time frame and it's not as high probability. So my main setup would be looking for entries up here, and then we would be, let's see, especially if we get entry in right there.
So, why did you draw it from the point where you have the circle instead of where you have the? It's harder to say it when you're on the. Can you go back to the 4 hour?
What did I draw it from?
For your you drew it from like your lower high point, but there was another lower high point. So why didn't you draw it from like there?
Are you saying that this is the lower high?
Yeah.
So my trading style, I draw from excuse me, this bearish candle to this bearish candle right here. You need to see it didn't really tap the 38.2. So that tells me that that's just a continuation and that's not a proper pullback.
No, think about like when you first started where the 100% is. Why didn't you put the 100% is where that engulfing happened with
Over
the
here?
no, all the way down. Like down. It's like in a switch. Yeah, like it's like where the arrow is, yeah, right there.
Here, so draw this from here. You see how this tapped the 38.2? This is a valid lower high. So this is the lower low and this is the lower high. So now we take our fib from the lower high and then draw it from, so this one right here, that still didn't come back to the 38.2, so that's not a lower high, that's just a continuation. So we look at this right here. See how it never tapped, you have this gap right here, you have we're 22 pips off of the 30.2. That to me is not a proper pullback either. So what I mean by a proper pullback is that I would like to see price come back and make a lower high at the 38.2 like it did right here. So it didn't do that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fib down until I get to this low right there. So you see it tapped the 38.2.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, this is a pullback to me. So now if we look at the daily, so you can see there's no lower high that it made. So it didn't. So this would be the 4 hour right there. So this is our 4 hour structure right here. So it came back, even tapped the 50 and then just continued down, smacked the 61.8. So that trade would have been bomb. But so then we take our fib from the lower high, and then right there. See how that's not a pullback? It's not really a pullback. That candle right there just it doesn't really mean much to me. So I want to see more. I want to see more structure. So right here. So you see how this is actually forming a pullback now?
Mm-hmm.
Right there. These two candles are what I'm looking for a pullback.
So you don't draw it from bearish candle to bearish candle. You draw it from like bearish to the lowest point possible.
I draw bearish to bearish. So this bear candle right here.
Yeah.
To this bear candle right here.
Oh, okay.
Right there. Yep. And then this is just, keep in mind, this is just an area. I mean, price doesn't have to come and perfectly tap this like we did see on AUD, USD, and GBPAUD. It just has to come to this area. And that's why I draw these little boxes right here. Just to remind you that I want to see some type of reversal action in here to continue the trend down. And then once we get that, can draw a trend line from up here. This one, yeah, it's a breaker structure. So, I mean, this one's still not really the best setup. If we do get a lower high back up in this area, I'll probably draw the trend line from like right here. Right there. So, and then just keep continuing down. And then this trade, it looks like we would risk 43 pips to make 236 for our first take profit. 333 for our second take profit. And then 456. So almost a risk reward ratio of 11. That's absolutely absurd. So this one I'm definitely going to be watching next week. I think this still could take a little bit of time to set up, just because I was saying this is an uptrend on the 1 hour. Brittany, this might also help you out too. So I'm going to drop from this candle right here to this candle right there. Came back all the way to almost to the 61.8. So that right there tells me that it is a valid pullback. Comes back, tested the 38.2. So this right here is the first higher high and the first higher low on the 1 hour chart. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fib and drop it from this bull candle to this bull candle. Look, you have the same thing all the way down to the 50, came back, closed above, and then hit our take profit for there. So now what I'm going to do is draw my fib from there to there. And then look for maybe this to the 61.8 or even the 38.2. I like the 61.8 because we had this resistance now. This resistance becomes a floor. That's just an extra confirmation. And then you can see this head up to our target of our 4 hour resistance back up here. So you can see.
GA is flying right now. I don't know if you have a take profit of that or not.
Oh yeah.
It's almost up like 30 pips.
Oh yeah, we're up 42 pips. Yeah, so go ahead and move your guys' stop losses to break even on AUDUSD and also GBPAUD.
So
this trade also
mainly trade off the 4 hour.
Yeah, I like the daily and the 4 hour. Those are just because it gives me a lot more time. It gives me a lot more time to evaluate what structure is doing. So see if I need to cut the trade early. See whatever I do about that. So this trade, if you guys end up taking this trade, I risk probably like 15 pips right there. First take profit 0, so risk 15 to make 36. Second take profit would be 53. My third take profit would be 74, so 5 to 1. And then I would leave one open to see if we come up here. So risk 15 pips to make 111. Yeah, probably like right up in here, right up in this area. Right there. Maybe. Keep in mind, it's on the 1 hour chart, so it's not the most high probability, and we're trading against our initial bias. I'm going to wait and be patient until this gets up into this area, like I've been saying. And then GBP CAD, I don't really like this. This is just way too messy for me. There's no real structure in here or anything. We did break this support. I just don't like how this looks. I don't like these candles. And we still have not gotten a true pullback. Yeah. So I'll still be looking for a pullback on this pair. Probably. Yeah. Yeah, look at that drop. Yep. So this is my setup for GBPAUD. Okay. There you go. So yeah, this is also in a lot of consolidation too. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see this coming back, retesting. Can you guys see this consolidation right here? Look at that. It's just bouncing around. So this one would probably be a really high probability trade too, if this does set up. But I see this actually probably just dropping down here. It's going to come down towards this 166 area. That is my analysis for that pair. Holy crap, USD JPY. Yeah, I don't like this pair right now. I don't know what this pair is doing. I don't like this candle, and I don't like this structure. This is just way too ugly. There's no, I don't know. It's not my favorite. GBP USD, this one, I don't really know what to think about this either. I don't like all this structure back here, and then you have this fat drop along with this candle again. We do have uptrending structure, but again, I think there's better trades that we can take. You can maybe take that. I mean, if it pulls back, I'd like to see this. All right, so here's our first higher high, and here's our first lower low. So we'll take our fib, drop right there to this candle right there. Came back, tapped the 50 perfectly. So this is our second higher high and our second higher low, but we've also got this resistance right here that I don't like. Yeah, right there. For me to take buys on this trade, I'd have to see this break this. Come back and then retest and then head up there. And then that's pretty much it. You guys have any questions or anything like that? I think we only have, yeah, we've only got 9 minutes left.
What was I going to say? So do you try to, like, when you trade like reversals, do you try to trade reversals with the trend only?
Yeah, always with the trend. Always trade with the trend.
And it can be with the trend if it's a reversal that like leads to a pullback, correct? If that makes sense.
Correct.
Like sometimes it'll be reversed, which means obviously it's changing direction, but like in the overall scheme, it's still going up or down or whatnot.
Correct. Yep. So, my mentor told me higher time frames for direction, because as we know, the higher time frames that you go, it's going to take precedence, and then we will look for like entries in like the 30 or the 15. So I really would like to see uptrend on the daily and uptrend on the 4 hour, and then once we get that pullback on the 4 hour, we start to look on the 15-minute for reversal structure. So whether it be a double bottom or a double bottom with an engulfing or whatever that looks like. And then we take the trade in line with the trend. So let's say that we're in an uptrend, we will buy on the first higher low.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. Because when we're looking to buy, what are we looking for? High lows. So this right here is where I'm going to be looking for entries to
Mm-hmm.
buy this right there. So
Is there a certain reason why you do that only? Like, is it because pullbacks are more common than like full-on reversals, or is it just safer or more predictable, or what's your?
It's just pullbacks are really high probability, especially when you can find support and resistance that has like if we're in an uptrend, if it's a ceiling and then becomes a floor, that's an area that price tends to react around. So it tells me that's going to be an area that price will have a high probability of returning to. So if it breaks through it, I want to see it come back down and test that. Or if it doesn't, if it just keeps going up, then I'll look for a different pair to trade. So I take these because I don't take trades on higher highs. I never ever trade breakouts because market makers, what they do is they'll throw the market one way just to get everybody by. So this is what stop hunts do. Market makers induce people to take positions in the direction of the stop hunt. Anybody that was going the opposite direction of the stop hunt, it collects their stop losses and also picks up the sell stops and buy stops for the orders and drags them backwards. And like, yeah, so that's the three things that stop hunts do. So that's why I never trade breakouts. And they do it on the daily. That's what this was. How many people think we're looking at charts and saw this candle and we're selling down here? How many people do you think we're selling this whole candle right there?
Yeah.
Just sell. And then market maker just came back up. Just kidding. Take your account.
Damn. Last question. Could you look at GU like really quick? It's moving different than because GA went down like 30 pips, but I think I'm like -6 pips on GU. Do you still think it's gonna drop?
On GA?
GU.
GU, that's what I'm saying. I don't know about this pair just because of this resistance right here, this resistance right there, and then it looks like it's creating resistance right there as well too. So I wouldn't trade, yeah, and all this resistance right here too. I would need to see it break this level, come back and retest.
No, I'm saying I sold it. You don't think it's gonna drop any from there?
Oh yeah, it could drop. We're in some ugly consolidation. It looks like we're in an uptrending consolidation, but because we have this tap right here, and then this candle right here. But yeah, on the daily, I think it could keep going up just because if we take our fib from right here to this candle, come back, we have an entry on the 50, and then we have a bullish engulfing right there. So I think it could just keep going up.
Bet.
That's my take. Yeah, and it looks. We have this tap right here in this area.
Is that a double bottom on the ASM?
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably a double bottom on the 4 hour. Yep, right there. So there's some type of support right there. So this one would have actually been a pretty good buy right here. Wouldn't have actually been too bad. Yeah, right in the 50 level. I don't like 50. It is a common Fibonacci level, but also it's unbalanced. So what that means is that it could tap this 50 and then just keep reversing and then just keep going down. Same thing with the 78.6. So I really only take entries on the 38.2 and the 78 or the 61.8. And then my final confirmation, I need to see candles that are going in the direction that I want to trade. So for an uptrend, I need to start seeing engulfings or an evening star or some sort of reversal action in line with the overall direction that I have in the daily. So if I'm looking for buys on the 4 hour and the daily, I'm going to be looking for bullish sentiment candles on the 5 minute and the 15. So also double bottoms as well too. That's really how I take my entry. This one, man, this pair is moving. Sheesh. Whew. Look at that. I so hope that candle closes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this candle. Cool. What I could also see, if we get on to 30-minute, I could see a pullback. Maybe right up in here in this area. Which we could probably look for more entries in if we start seeing bearish sentiment. But I mean, this looks like it's just going to keep going. I don't see any reason for this to stop. So, all right, guys, it looks like we have less than a minute. I'm going to stop this and then upload the video to YouTube.
Awesome, bro. Thank you.
Cool. Yep.
I meant it.